And then I wanted to pivot over following that to the topic of owning a gym and running it and how that's kind of been with you. Like it's a small business and I'm sure like it has its struggles and issues. I'm curious, what's probably the main thing that you would say for owning a gym or running a small business that people don't understand
Um, it's
from the outside looking in?
I mean, like anything, right? There's a lot of it's constant work on the back end, right? It doesn't matter how simple the gym setup is. I mean, it's constant effort. If you stop swimming for a second, you'll sink. And especially because we're primarily judo, and we've had folks who have rented other martial arts or other programs have rented space from us from time to time, but we're primarily judo, and a lot of clubs are sort of an additional part of a BJJ club. When you're a judo only club, I mean, we have BJJ and we've had, like I said, other martial arts through the years, but when you're primarily judo, it's a constant hustle. It's a constant hustle.
Would you have ever expected, like when you, because I believe you took it over from your father was running
Hmm.
it, and
Yeah.
would you have ever expected it to get to the point that it is now and have the success that the gym is having with things like Safe and Stable and everything else when it comes to competitions or just in general, like having, numbers or memberships? Like, did you ever think it would get to the level that it's at now?
I think kind of once I started to take over in like 2012, I did start to kind of I started to kind of have a vision for what we wanted to do. But I bringing my wife in and her helping and really kind of providing more necessary systems to make the thing work has really facilitated us getting there. Um, there were some things, how the club looks that I was kind of more of a part of, but now she's been just a massive part in how the club runs. And I feel like the one thing I can kind of really pride myself on is the club culture that we've built. I'm just kind of continuously impressed by the good people that we have and the folks who look out for each other and how welcoming we are as a club. And I think club culture is like the biggest thing that you can do as a club owner is really take a hand in making sure that you have the right people. I mean, we started background checks for anybody that's around kids. So now we do background checks for our adult members. If you come in, and not people who do drop ins, but if you're signing up as a regular member of the club, because we do have adolescents, and just really making sure we were kind of a step ahead of USA Judo, and that we made sure all of our instructors did safe sport, did concussion training, had background checks before they required it, and just kind of really making sure you got the right people in there. And it's that's been the biggest part of it is once people, and then the other part is, like any business, getting people through the door. Um, we still, you know, most of our people that come through when we kind of ask them, how'd you hear about us? It's folks who already knew about judo. It's, their grandfather did judo or their uncle did judo, or maybe they did it when they were younger. So it's still a challenge in the U.S. to get the word out because judo is it still struggles to be known in the U.S. Um, Certainly, if you kind of look at the judo history and trajectory, when judo came into the U.S. and like the YMCA's in the 50s and 60s, and then the kind of popular attitude is that it was sort of derailed by these guys, Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee, who made karate really popular. I mean, I did karate in the 80s. Like, if you're around in the 80s, you did karate. Um, and judo has always it starts to kind of come up, and then for whatever reason, it just kind of stays in this kind of relatively unknown. You talk about judo to people, and it's like maybe they know it's an Olympic sport, maybe they know it's a martial art, so it's somewhere between Olympic sport and black magic. They don't really, know where to put it. So it's still, as a small business owner, that's something that you're up against is awareness.